Today's throwback, we're having a look at the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Select Venom. Spot wanted to revisit this figure because it still to this day is one of my favorite Venoms of all time. We have gotten a ton of Venoms from different companies, ranging from Hasbro to Toy Biz to Diamond Select, but by far, I think the one that nailed it the most is Diamond Select Toys. I also want to have a look at this because the upcoming Venom figure that we're going to be getting, I believe it's going to be in the Absorbing Man wave of the Marvel Legends line. Once again, and I'll touch base on this when we eventually have a look at that figure, but once again, Hasbro is reusing a body build that just does not fit the character. They're using that really short, stocky build that they have given to Toxin, and they've also given to Sabretooth, and it just never quite fits the bill, if you ask me, of that particular character. And one of the reasons why I wanted to get this guy out of my storage, because that's where he's been sadly sitting all these many months, but he's been in storage for a while. I wanted to get him out of storage and have a look at him again, because I kind of wanted to show, at least for the people that maybe ask on a daily basis, what particular, if I could get one figure based on this said character, what figure would it be? For anybody that says, if I could get one figure for Venom, what would be the definitive Venom? The answer I would give you is this Venom here. He's not perfect. He does have a few little hiccups here and there. I guess probably maybe the greatest hiccup that he has is the paint. Paint is not really consistent on him, and it seems to be one constant trend with Venoms when we get them. They don't always seem to have the same coloring everywhere. Areas like his legs will differ slightly as you get progressively further up on the figure. When you get to around like the shoulder area, he's less this black color, and he's almost more like a dark purple. And that dark purple also carries over to his arms, which, yeah, you look at it, one arm here is a little on the more purple side than this arm here. And this arm here, while still being black, is not the black that carries over where it's almost shinier, really, from the torso down than it is from the torso up. He's got a multitude of different accessories. I'll show you guys that in a second, but let's quickly have a look at his face. In the storage, the way I packed him away, I had him defaulted to this face, and he's got 3 different heads. Again, I'll show you all of those separately. But this face, when I look at this face, I think specifically the Marvel Universe trading cards. I think it was the Series 1 trading cards that was from the Marvel Universe, and it had this grinning Venom face. Every time I see this face, I always think of those trading cards to this day. He does have a couple of different head swap options, though. One of the heads that you can go with is the Eddie Brock kind of being consumed by the symbiote. I like how the symbiote wraps around his face almost as if it's a hand, like it's grabbing around and it's grabbing the side of Eddie Brock's face. I feel like this is a more throwback to the Spider-Man Classics Venom, which was really less of Venom. It was just a mess of a stuff. I know what Toy Biz was trying to go with, but it ended up being just too messy of a Venom. But it kind of is a throwback to that, if you ask me. And you can kind of see the workings of more of a larger jaw Venom when it eventually engulfs Eddie's face. The sculpt, though, again, not crazy on this particular head sculpt, I think the sculpt on the face is really good. I also like that the tongue has been added to the bottom of the lower jaw. It's a really nice touch. Again, I would never use this particular face sculpt on Venom, but I love the fact that it would have included that. Moving that to the side, let's bring the camera back a little bit. The other face sculpt, which would have also been probably a debate as to which one I really want to display more so, the other face sculpt had him with the tongue sticking out. And maybe this is maybe this is more so what a lot of collectors envision Venom as, with the more big teeth, more exposed open jaw than maybe this Venom right here. And swapping out the head, you just want to grab the torso, pop the head off, it's very, very easy, and replace the head with the new jaw. And I find the head sometimes, the heads on Marvel Legends anyways, I find a little trickier to get on at times. And there you've got Venom with the tongue sticking out. In my initial review, actually, when we had a look at Venom, I commented that the packaging showed the tongue or the non-tongued head as an alternate, and I didn't know where that the non-tongue head was. It actually turns out that the tongue can be removed. A couple of you guys actually mentioned that during the review. The tongue can just slide right out. It doesn't really, well, there's a little slot, if you can see it right there. That tongue sticks into the slot. It's a serviceable head that you can do it with or without the tongue, depending on how you want. I guess it does kind of look like his teeth are fitting around something, that it doesn't quite fit without the tongue, but I think you can still get away with it. By the way, this jaw also extends all the way up the side of his head, which is some of the artwork we've seen with Venom 2. This very exaggerated, elongated head. Especially with the... I love that. I just absolutely love that paint, showing the gum line going all the way up past the mask eyes, I guess, so to speak. So this is a good look for Venom if you don't want to necessarily go with this particular one here. And let's go ahead and let's put the tongue back in. I think, again, this head, I think, fits a little bit better with having the tongue in place, because you get a really exaggerated long tongue, which is perfect for Venom. Okay, so it doesn't end there. Marvel Select, or Diamond Select with the Marvel Select Venom, gave us a ton of other options available as well. Let's look at some of the hand options. Now, I had these particular hands. Let's get the tongue, make sure the tongue's back in there completely. They gave you a couple of hand options. Out of packaging, in fact, I think these particular hands were in the place of these ones right here. So if you want to just swap them out, you can just take the hands, unpeg them, find the thumbs, make sure the thumbs go in, and those peg just back into place. This gives you a much bigger, more vicious looking look for Venom. I kind of like the smaller hands, just to be honest, but it does give you options if you want to display Venom a little more feral, I guess, a little more deadlier, so to speak. So you have those options as hands. Then on top of that, you've got a couple of little holes on the sides. See these little holes? Well, what you can do too is take these extra hands, the little smaller arms, and those can peg into place. One right there. And the other one, let's reach off camera. The other arm can peg right like that. They're not really posable. Well, they are posable in the hands, that the hands do rotate, but like pegging them into the form, they don't really do much purpose other than just making them a lot bigger and bulkier. Doesn't end there, however, because Diamond Select also gives you this attachment too. And what it does, if you remember the symbiote, I think was it Maximum? No, I'm trying to think of the actual name of the figure line. But you can take this, peg this into place, and then you've got the extra heads on top of Venom's shoulders. It's a really cool look. I won't lie to you, it's a really, really cool look. Not necessarily one that I would go with per se, but it definitely gives a lot extra oomph to the figure. It gives him a lot extra size, definitely bulks him up a lot more, and it gives him a lot of extra arm options. And then these particular arms certainly are the closed fists, that you can take these, pop them off, and you can swap them out for the other hands. Also works if Spot put the right hands in. There we go. So you can do that. Or what you can also do too, as we've already now removed these closed fists, you can then swap them out with the hands on the front. So there's a lot of different options available depending on how you want to display them. You can go for a lot, you can go for a little, and again, one of the reasons why this Venom is my all-time favorite. When it comes to his poseability, now this is going to be pretty impressive. Because he's got all this extra stuff on it, let's treat it as if the articulation includes all the extra things that we've just added onto it. The heads on his shoulders, 2 of them, actually no wait, 3 of them, are posable. Actually, I think this one's posable too, so we got 4. And I think the small one, no, the small one is not posable. So each one of the heads is posable on the shoulder added piece, and then you've got the ball joint on Venom's head. The shoulders hinge out on the main body of Venom, and we'll just move his arms out of the way here. They rotate back and forth on that bicep swivel. They also hinge at the elbow and swivel and hinge in the hand. Well, actually, this doesn't really have the hinge on this particular hand, but it does swivel. Then you've got the individual swivel on the side arm that we've attached to Venom's arm here. This back arm also has its own bicep swivel, a hinge in the elbow, and a swivel in this wrist. And that carries over to this arm as well. Then you get to the upper torso. The upper torso is on a ball joint. Slightly limited, yes, but it does have ability in the bicep area. He has a swiveled waist, legs forward and back hinge. He has a mid-thigh cut swivel, a hinge, a single hinge knee, and a pivot point in the foot, which doesn't really look like it pivots back and forth. However, it does hinge forward and back. There's not really much I would have done differently to this Venom, to be honest. I guess maybe I would probably maybe add a hinge joint in the jaw so the jaw could actually open and close without the tongue being included. Other than that, though, there's really not a lot of negatives I can make about this particular figure. It really has everything you could possibly want with Venom. The options are insane with the amount of things you can do with him. You can go, again, as little as you saw in the beginning of this video, or as a lot as what you've seen right now. I think probably between this figure, and I also want to think, was it the Sinister Six box set? I think it was the Sinister Six box set by Toy Biz. Those were two of the best Venoms by far. Since then, I don't know if we've really gotten ourselves a decent Venom, and I'm thinking right now that Absorbing Man Venom is going to be atrocious. It's going to be too short, it's going to be too stocky. It just will not look like Venom. The paint might be good, as with the Toxin was, but I just don't feel like the figure is going to be a very good Venom when we end up seeing him in hand. If you ask me, the money, if you can get him, the money is picking this guy up right here. Today's throwback, we were having a look at the Diamond Select Toys Marvel Selects Venom. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more throwbacks heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.